You eat, you sleep, you drag your feet, get out of bed and earn your keep, then rinse, repeat, and take your seat. Just let them think they've won. Now the road ahead is steep, and yet I feel the urge to run. So go ahead and lead. I know you hate that I pick up like circling the drain. We make our choices, then we end up the same. We've all been throwing low blows and stepping on toes. It's the way to go. Looking for someone to shoulder the blame. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Hey guys, we are back once again here at the Canadian League of Legends February 6th A-ranked tournament. My name is Earthkey, whom you all know and I assume adore at this point, and here with me tonight is Street Bowl.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm very glad to be casting here tonight alongside Earthkey. I think this is my first cast with Earthkey, actually, usually casting with Original Sin, so very excited.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Right now we've actually got the Carrie Susie Foundation over on the left side with Zach Durex, Dr. Pancakes, Avaros, Advantage, and Yuri. And facing off against them is Team Inertia with too many senpais for me to name individually, but I will give it my best. Senpai, Inertia Senpai, Evan RL, Senpai RL, and Senpai once again to close things off. And already we're seeing Callista taken right off the board. She's really sprung up in popularity.
Yeah, these are actually target bans against Inertia. Now Inertia, of course, is the team that made it first to Challenger in the Ranked 5s ladder in Season 5. But I believe the record right now is 24-4, I think, on the ranked ladder, or something close to that. But they are the top team right there. And that is actually, like I said, target bans. Both Callista and Xerath are highly picked champions by their mid and AD carry. Evan RL is their AD carry, and he picks Callista, like, I think he has like 30-something games played in ranked on Callista, and the next highest is like close to 10 or so on the next AD carry. So Callista, definitely a target ban there. And the J4 target ban as well for Senpai, their jungler. Senpai with the little... I'll just... One of the Senpais.
Which one? The Axon? It's so hard to see when they're so small, too. Is it the Axon Graph?
It's the one with the little hat, basically, the little kind of up arrow, the upside down V. That is their jungler. But yeah, they even changed their names. Like Isunari changed his name to INT Senpai. I believe that's Isunari, their top laner. And like Kevin the Kitty, their support, changed it to Senpai RL. So like they're making it even more and more confusing. It used to be bad enough with the double Senpais.
I mean, it's just going to be a matter of time before they have 5 different accents on 5 different senpais. So, I mean, that's going to be a horrible day for us, but it really shows the unity they've got there as a team. But the first lock-in is going to be that Vi pickup. And, you can never really go wrong with Vi. She's got so much great engage potential, but not really the tankiest option when it comes to your jungle picks.
And I actually really like the bans or the picks and bans so far for the side of Carry Susie Foundation. It shows they've done their research because everything they've done so far is entirely targeted at inertia. The most commonly two-picked jungles for Senpai with the little hat Senpai there, their jungler, are Vi and Jarvan. So by banning the Jarvan and then first picking the Vi, it's going to force Hat Senpai onto a different jungler other than his top two right there with the Vi and Jarvan. So I like those picks and bans so far for Carry Susie Foundation.
I'm loving the new name, Hat Senpai. That is gonna stick, or I will make sure that it does. But also with the Kassadin and the Janna pickup as well, we haven't seen too much of Kassadin since I believe the end of season 3, where he was just a pick or ban up at the LCS level. But he's starting to make a bit of a comeback now. People are starting to realize that if you go for a more tanky build with him up on that top lane, he can become a rolling wrecking ball later on in the game. He doesn't deal an amazing amount of damage, but the thing is he can go into a team fight, soak up a fair bit, hunt down those squishier targets, and then make it out in one piece, and still have plenty of mana to spare left over. So it's nice to see him being picked up by inertia over there, along with that Janna.
Yeah, absolutely. The Janna definitely a highly contested support pick, so that's more standard. But yeah, like you said, Kassadin kind of making a disappearance for a while, because Riot kind of what they did is they're like, oh, we made him too powerful, he's getting picked and banned in every game. Let's just nerf the heck out of them. They completely destroyed Kassadin, and then over time slowly kind of gave him a few buffs, and now he's back at the point where he's actually a viable pick again. So I don't mind that Kassadin pick as well. It's kind of hard to counter, to be honest, as well, and it is, like you said, kind of a flex pick too. You can throw it up in top, or even throw it in the mid lane right there. And I don't mind that Hecarim pickup as well. Hecarim, they actually recently buffed him a little bit, but I feel like Hecarim was already strong before that buff, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Hecarim in the jungle. You don't see him that often, but I think he's pretty darn close to the top, to be honest. And Sion being picked up in the top lane here.
Well, it's going to be interesting, because the thing is, I feel that more than likely we're going to see Kassadin in the mid lane now, for sure. But Sion and Hecarim are they're both viable top lane, they're both viable junglers. And I mean, we've seen Divers pick up Hecarim for a good amount of play up on that top lane. So it could be either or we could just see like a complete throw up and just have Sion Hecarim on the bot lane, the big buddies kind of just charging into people and destroying that possible Twitch pickup if Advantage sticks with that.
Yeah, just go for that murder lane and bot there. But like you said, yeah, they're all kind of flex picks. Like you were mentioning, Dyrus went on kind of a Hecarim rampage. I remember looking at probuilds.net at his profile one time, and literally the entire page was filled up with all Hecarim games. It was something like 20 or so Hecarim games all in a row. So that top lane Hecarim, if Dyrus likes it, I'm sure it's a decent pick right there. But I'm assuming that's going to be a jungler there for a Hat Senpai in the jungle, and we're going to be seeing that Sion there for INT Senpai in the top lane.
The only question is, who is going to be the AD carry then? Lucian. Oh, Lucian
Wow.
getting locked in immediately. Okay, I was expecting a little bit more of a delay there, but no hesitation coming out from Inertia. They want Lucian. And, it's weird. I've always, ever since Lucian got nuffed and Graves received a torrent of buffs over the season, I felt like Lucian has really kind of stepped down and is not as strong as Graves when it comes down to it. He's still got his mobility, and that might be what Inertia is looking for. But overall, I feel like Lucian is a weaker option when it comes to these AD carry caster options that they do have.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with you on that. And this is coming from someone whose most played champion was Lucian in Season 4. I think I stopped playing him after they nerfed him there, and I still didn't have a second champion even remotely close to the games I had played on Lucian. And it's just because Lucian was so strong back then. And since all the changes, he's really just, like you said, a weaker version of Graves, I feel. But to be honest, I don't mind them picking up Lucian here. We saw Forgiven pick up the Lucian today actually just a few hours ago in the SK versus Elements game there and played it to great effect. So Lucian's definitely still viable, but like you said, I do prefer the Graves pick. But personally, I would personally play the Lucian over the Graves just because I feel like Lucian fits my style better. So it's very possible that Evan RL feels kind of the same way, and he's willing to take a little bit of a dip for more of a style preference in play.
And the thing is, that's good, and that's the reason why you see Advantage go champions like Vayne or Kalista very often. It's because they are more comfortable with these sort of champions, and naturally they're going to do better with them if they feel more confident in their play with these champions. Because just because Graves is strong right now doesn't mean like, oh, I guess everyone needs to play Graves. Not everyone's going to mesh well. So it's good that Evan is sticking to his strengths rather than just, following the same curve that everyone else is. It shows individuality and outside the box thinking. And I think that's why Advantage plays such a strong Vayne. We don't see much Vayne nowadays. You still see Doublelift pick him up a little bit, sure, but overall you don't see a lot of good Vaynes out there, and so not a lot of people are prepared once that final hour is activated and once she just goes ape shit all over your face. It's absolutely beautiful, and that's one of the best things I love about watching Advantage play Vayne.
Yeah, absolutely. And picking a Vayne kind of sets this ticking time bomb for the other team. It's like if you don't end this game before a certain point, you're going to have to deal with an endgame Vayne. And anybody that can micro properly and position well in an endgame Vayne can basically 1v5 a team once they get to that certain point. So it's really going to put a little fire under Inertia's butt there and focus them on ending the game in the early or mid, which it seems like their comp is reasonably suited to do some mid-game damage there. Once Kassadin can kind of scale up a bit there and he's hopping around the map with his ultimate, his lane phase rather is going to be a little bit weak early, but if they can push through that and survive, it's going to be a little bit rough against Riven, but they should be okay. Possibly some jungle help from Hecarim with some counter ganks, things like that. Get Kassadin into the mid game. Lucian will spike nicely in the mid game as well, and they'll have Janna to keep him safe and a big front line in Sion.
And they have I was actually gonna cash upon that Lucian mid game, but you beat me to it. The one thing I think they're gonna have to watch out for is Dr. Pancakes up on top, though. Riven is someone who can potentially snowball out of control. While she's not incredibly tanky, she can get to that point where she just deals so much damage and gets so much in your face that she's almost unstoppable. So while you've got a top lane like Sion, who's essentially a walking wall, he can still get outplayed, and Dr. Pancakes, if he is able to take that top lane, could give enough of a leeway for the